which is one of the paramitas, or we call it also perfections of the heart. I'm just going to briefly mention them so you know, because last time we met, I talked a little bit about patience. And today's renunciation, I just mentioned giving, dāna, and this renunciation is also known as nekhamma in the Pali word. We have sīla, morality, wisdom. In the Pali, second phrase is pañña, the patience, energy, sacca, truthfulness, determination, equanimity, and metta, loving kindness. And you know, they like I said earlier, they're also like known as the perfections of the human heart. And basically, they're like these recipes that the Buddha left for us, so that we can cultivate and experience happiness. You know, and sometimes thinking about happiness, especially when we're struggling with difficult emotions, or difficult relationships, or even during difficult political, social times like now, it feels kind of strange to think about happiness, right? But these teachings are really speak of a kind, timeless experience in humanity, and so it's regardless of what difficulties in the times that we are, these are all possibilities that we can learn to practice and to cultivate. And in our tradition in Buddhism, renunciation can be think as a as the lifestyle of monks, or living in a monastery, or living in a place like Jokoji, which can be a little like, oh my gosh, it's so hard, right? But it also for us, letting renunciation is practicing and understanding to let go to whatever it's holding us back from experiencing happiness. So letting go to the ignorance, letting go to things or experiences or habits that have become unpleasant into our life. And yeah, it's not always simple, right? Like I was giving you the example today, like just a simple video took me like doing 40 for one that is going to last only 45 seconds, because I wanted it like just like what I thought it should be, perfect, right? And there's no way. So yeah, sometimes it's like you would learn the hard way, like, what? I lost the whole morning doing this. So it's a practice. It's not easy. And that's why I like to use the word letting go, because actually, nekhamma, which is in the Pali word translated as renunciation, in English doesn't really, it doesn't sound really easy, but what it really means is to move forward, to let go, to just to let go. And so there are many teachings, right? And like I say, it's not about letting go things that we enjoy. That feels kind of hard to think like that. It's like, I don't want to lose this. I don't want to give up this, right? Especially, we live in a society that like imbibes us and is very attractive to comfort and consumption. But what the Buddha taught was that in order for us to learn to practice to let go, is to really be very aware and intimate with that brings us discomfort, that makes us unhappy, and to recognize when we're grasping to these ideas or these habits, right? When we're becoming greedy, that something is, that life is not enough and we want more. And so to practice awareness and to experience that intimacy with those experiences or ideas can naturally help us to just release, to let go. I hope I'm making sense. um, and so for us, it's really, it's like to becoming in touch with our heart and noticing what's there that we really want, what is it that we're afraid to lose, what is it that we're grasping on, right? And for lay practitioners like us, there's many ways that we can practice it and look at it, but I wanted just to present few. One is like physical things, as I was saying earlier. We are so attractive to comfort and to buy and to consume things, right? And so it's not about giving up those things that we enjoy, as I said earlier, but it's to observe or attachment to those things and how those attachments can bring discomfort and greed that is not enough. I'm planning to do a backpacking trip, and I'll give you an example. So I was thinking I needed a backpack because it's like 4 days hiking, and in the one that I have, I thought, oh, it's like I need another one that is lighter, that doesn't touch my back. And so all these things about comfort, right? And then I go to the store and then want this, and then, oh, I also need this, I also need that. And then I realized, my God, I'm being so greedy. I really don't need that. I mean, the instructions of the hike is like very simple, bring something simple and light. But here I am like trying to grasp into more, right? And yeah, sure, comfort is good, but also realizing when it's getting a little bit too much, and when we're getting attached to this idea of how these things should be. So just that awareness, when is it enough that like we go to the store and there's like all these things that we supposedly need, but we really don't need. They're just there for us to tempt us. So when is it enough to start buying objects for decoration of the house? And how much do we get attached to that? And yeah, I've been practicing with a group of like native indigenous traditions where they do fire circles. Uh, and this is another another example of how we get attached to material things and how hard it is to let go. And so in their practice, they also have the practice of dāna, but they don't call it dāna, it's giving and sharing, right? And so you give something that has been useful in your life to someone that you want them to find use and to enjoy it as you have. And you keep it for as long as you need it. And if you realize, oh, you don't need it anymore, then you share it with somebody else and you explain to that other person that they should do the same, to keep it for as long as they need it and then to share it with somebody else. Not because they don't want it or they don't need it anymore, but because they want that other person to experience the same benefit or joy, right? And so there's like a tradition, a form of doing it, which is really beautiful. And so then, I thought, okay, I had the next fire circle, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna give this. I like art, and I had this piece of art that is really pretty, and I thought that this person would really appreciate it because it was an indigenous art, and it was easy for me to give it because I had it already for years, and I wasn't really too much into it anymore. And then I wanted to give something to somebody else. And I usually, when I go to stores, if I find something that I like, that I would like, and that I can afford, I usually buy them like for birthday presents or for Christmas, just for presents. So I keep them, and whenever there's a special occasion, I don't have to go to the store and buy it. So I bought this little ornament that was really nice, that I thought, oh, this would be a perfect Christmas or birthday presents. And then I thought about this other person, and I go, oh, what can I bring this person, right? And I'm looking around the house, and I look at this gift that I had just recently bought. I'm like, no, not that one. In my head, right? That one is going to be for a birthday present or a different kind of occasion. And then I turn around, but I bought it because I wanted to give it to someone. That's the greed. That's the grasping. Like, no, it wasn't for this occasion. It was for another. And it was like a struggle for me, because like I'm negotiating with myself. No, maybe I can find something else. And then I had to stop and say, this is the practice of grasping, of holding onto an idea. And it was such relief to say, oh, let me just give it and give it to this person, to just let it go. So then there is also learning and practicing to let go to, possessions of other beings, like holding onto people, onto relationships that sometimes bring so much discomfort and harm to us or to others. And it's not always easy. And the beautiful thing about these practices, about the paramitas, is that they're all really connected. They're not like independent. You got to practice this one and then this one. Somehow they link, right? So last time I talked about patience, and for those that were in my session, you may remember that I talked about patience with my teenager son, right, who turned 18 and decided to go on a backcountry trip and didn't invite me, and I didn't know where he was. Like, he got disconnected from the internet. And so it was patient about practicing patience until he would tell me that he was back. But it was also practicing to let go the previous relationship that I had with him, and to start a new relationship, him as an independent young man, adult. So it is a practice, right? Where we have to become aware, like, I'm used to knowing where you're going, what time you're coming back. And now I have to just like embrace, I trust you, and you can go. And then there is, practicing observing our beliefs or views or opinions, including our political opinions or spiritual beliefs about ourselves and about our ideas and about others, and see how sometimes we're just like so attached to the way that we think that they should be, or the way that things, the way that we understand things. And when we cling into those views, we don't leave a space to learn and to appreciate from others. And I do find myself a lot in practicing with these groups that I'm new, practicing, learning from the ancient native traditions. I encounter myself like doubting them, and thinking, oh, this is how things should be, or like, just bringing my own ideas into the circle, or at least, in the space, not verbalizing it, but in the energy, in the way that I behave or the way that I respond. Um, and sometimes even when we don't express the ideas or views, or discontent or disagreement or attachment to the way things should be, it shows up, is manifested in the way that we carry ourselves and that we relate to people. And so learning to loosen up and let go. Is there another way? Or is there more than one way? Because the truth is that our views, whatever we believe, they are really only partial truth or partial realities, right? There's always another side of that. But we sometimes get blind by our own idea. And then lastly is this idea of, like I was mentioning earlier, of striving self-perfection and never being good enough. That one is so draining. And have you met any human being that is perfect? Like, except me, right? I'm the only perfect one in the room here, right? And when I don't meet that expectation that I impose on myself, I sweat it so much, right? So learning to be patient with ourselves and to meet those expectations with kindness, because those expectations that we have about how we should be or who we should be um, requires a lot just in simple patience to understand and recognize how heavy they are in our existence and how they have been ingrained in our mind since probably even before we were born. These ideas that were transmitted to our parents and then our parents through to us, and so we don't even know, when did I start believing that I should be like this, that I should do that? You just simply do things because we don't even know, but because we think that's what we should be doing. So it's about practicing gentleness, patience, kindness, and again, about these views, understanding that this is just partial views, that there are other ways, and to ease up, to embrace just as we are, and recognize that the experience that we have of being alive, of breathing, of being human, meaning not perfect, it's miraculous, it's beautiful, as simple as that, right? And just embrace that, like the effort that we put into trying to do something, it's beautiful, and sometimes that's good enough, trying, right? So there's the other part also, the misconception that when we let go to something, whether it's belief, relationships or something, right? That we have to, or we need to replace it with something to occupy that space that is occupying in our existence. But it actually is not like that. I find it that what it is just letting go creates a space for something that would naturally just blossom and fill it, or life with something more pleasant. And the process of letting go doesn't have to be one where we're striving for the perfection of letting go. We're simply planting the intention and practicing that intention and that awareness. Maybe let me explain it. And my practice and intention of letting go of resentment. There was a person that hurt me, that hurt my family, and there have been a couple, several, not just one, right? But one of the reasons why I committed myself to be devoted and to really practice the Buddhist and learn the Buddhist teachings was because I didn't want to hold resentment, and I wanted to learn how to forgive. And I don't know how many times I was in sesshin or other retreats, and like that, that feeling, that energy of anger or resentment will just like show up in the body. I was like, oh, no, that it's still there. It hasn't gone, right? Telling you, like years, 10 years, until one day I just had to realize I got to stop trying. I just know that this is what I want, but I got to stop trying, that it has to end right away. Like I don't have to feel this right away. And then what I realized from this person that I mentioned is he passed recently. And when I learned that he passed, I go, oh, I used to be so upset. I used to be so upset, so angry with this person. When can I stop feeling that? Because I don't feel that anymore. And I couldn't remember when I had stopped feeling resentment. I couldn't remember when I had let go those views and those feelings that I had. I simply remember that for years I had that intention and that I had practiced experiences how it felt in my body. And it was such a beautiful moment, like, oh, so what filled up that space, that energy that was occupying in my body was simply this acknowledgement that this person um, was another human being just like me. And so that's why I say, like, it's not about replacing, it's just simply releasing and allowing for something that will bring joy or goodness into our life to appear. So, yeah. I'm going to pause right there, see if we have any questions, if this makes sense to you, or maybe any disagreements. Perhaps taking a moment to see and explore something in your life that you're aware that you're just like grasping on. And how does that feel in the body?